so important to address being on social media. And you know, like thinking about that even further, like sometimes I've heard people say like, well, once I get on there, it's like, then I'm gonna have to keep doing it or keep responding. So like, what are your thoughts about that?
I think if you're going to own a business in this environment, you just have to accept that social media and responding to inquiries on social media, it's a part of your marketing plan, and it's a basic part of your marketing plan that if you really want to be successful and you want to find those people that are going to love your brand so much that they're going to amplify you in a completely different way than any type of advertising could ever get you, then it just needs to be part of your internal marketing process. And I've seen so many businesses through the years on Yelp, and I've met so many business owners, and the ones that really thrive are the ones that just embrace it. And it's not always pretty, and I know that it's really hard sometimes, you know, to read negative feedback about your business, but it's also really great to learn more about your business faster and to also receive positive feedback and to turn someone who's maybe a hater, there's a great book called Hug Your Haters, and turn them into somebody who just loves your business because you took that extra time to respond. And we found that if you respond within 24 hours, statistically, I believe there's a 37% chance that someone that maybe didn't leave positive feedback will upgrade their review as much as 3 stars from what their baseline review was, and then they'll also become an advocate for your business. So 24 hours should really be the guideline for your response rate.
I agree. She's right on point. It is a fundamental part of your business. You don't look at your phone and go, I don't like that area code, I'm not going to take that call. Like, someone has reached out to your business. You want to talk to them. But more importantly than talking to that individual who's given you the review, this is your chance to showcase your business to the rest of the planet. You know, every time you get a review and you respond, you're not really writing to that one person. I mean, you are, but you don't really care about that person. What you care about is everybody else who reads it. Like, that's a giant audience. And if you can get that one person on your side and some of that big audience, like, that's a huge win. And it doesn't cost you anything. And you know, the concern about getting into social media and, you know, oh, it's gonna be this giant time suck, you know, it's this back and forth, a he said, she. Don't worry about that. TripAdvisor, and I actually don't know about Yelp, but we're one and done. Someone gets to make a comment, you get to reply, that's the end. They don't get to come back, but I said, like, you're done. Like, that's that one thing. So it is you can be very succinct, you can do it efficiently, and no one else is representing your business around the planet the way TripAdvisor is. Like, that's an easy place for you to get the 4 people in India that happen to look at Waikiki today, because they're going to see that you got a recent review and you replied, and they're like, oh, hey, that's interesting to me, and you win that business. That's so much better than calling me and asking about an ad campaign. I mean, I'm happy to, you know, do business with you, but like, the organic nature of that will work better. You know, the idea of an advocate and winning that person over to amplify your business, that is what it's all about. I mean, customer service has become a spectator sport, and we're all better at it. We're better at doing it. We're better at reading it. How many people once read a review and it's like, oh, I'm never going to that ramen place, it sounds terrible. Now you read a review and you're like, that lady's crazy, of course there's pork in ramen. Like, why would she complain? Like, we're better at it. Like, people understand how to read these reviews. So don't sweat the crazy. Like, embrace the good part of it and let the crazy go.
And I was just thinking of this when you guys were talking about this. We were speaking earlier about like Instagrammable swimming pools, and do you know if it have any examples of a business that has just become super popular and successful because of like great ratings on Yelp or
Crazy guy in New
TripAdvisor
York.
that maybe, you know, did not have in the past?
Wait, so you want like an example of something that is?
Yeah, like, just like a small business
So-
or some example where like. in the
So
past-
in Victoria, I met this guy, came to a conference where I was speaking. I told him, hey, here's 5 things to do for your business, make your TripAdvisor better. Go, have a good luck, ciao. A year later, he comes back, he's hired 4 people, bought a sprinter van. His business consisted of taking people for a walk. Like, he called it a hike, but essentially, he would take 4 to 5 people for a walk and charged them $50. It was a pretty spot, but like, he interacted with the guests. He said, hey, you know what? It would be great if you would review me on TripAdvisor. People reviewed him on TripAdvisor. He's the #1 thing to do in Victoria. Like, he's killing it, you know, the business is growing. He's only taking people for walks, and now he's got people taking people for walks, but it's because he got into the social space and got people talking and amplifying his message. And that's, I mean, I'm sure there's a billion examples like that of little businesses that are just crushing it. It actually, within TripAdvisor, became a problem. Are you familiar with escape rooms? Do you know about this?
Sure.
So, on TripAdvisor, businesses are ranked, and we call it the popularity index. And because of the intimate interaction with a escape room, it's very easy to say, hey, would you please review me? I know you had a great time, you know, and that's legit. But these businesses would get great reviews. And the #1 attraction in Paris was Pierre's escape room. Okay, the #1 attraction in Paris is the Eiffel Tower. Like, that's crazy. So TripAdvisor actually had to adjust the algorithm to account for what we term fast movers, that were businesses that would start and 2 weeks later be the best thing on the planet. And they're good, but they're not the best thing. You need to show consistency over time. So yeah, I mean, it's something the business looks at all the time, and we try and evaluate, because you can make a difference in your business.
So I actually had a very good friend who, he recently passed away, and it was very sad, but when I think of an amazing person on Yelp in terms of responding to reviews and just, I think, taking it to the next level, he was definitely that person. His name was Eki Locke, and he used to manage the P.F. Chang's at Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center. I don't know if any of you know him. And then he went to Bill's, which is right back here. And he just completely embraced the Yelp experience. And I always tell this story because the way that I became friends with him is I wrote a 2-star review about P.F. Chang's. Because we had a horrible experience, and we were staying in Waikiki, and it's just, they completely forgot about us on every level. And he responded back to me the next day, this huge long private message. He's like, I'm so sorry, I wasn't there. And he completely took full ownership, and I upgraded my review because I was like, man, this guy like really cares. And so I became friends with him, and he just became a part of, when I think of one person that's been truly a part of my Yelp experience, it's been him, because he would host parties. If we had a big party, he was always the guy that was running the bar. We eventually sent him as a representative for Honolulu to Yelp headquarters when we have our big business owners conference, and he was up there, and everyone was like, man, that guy from Hawaii was amazing, because he just really embraced the customer experience. And then when he went to Bill's, this is the only time in my entire time at Yelp that I've seen a business go from 3.5 stars upwards to 4 plus. It's very difficult to do once you have over a certain number of reviews, but he just really did it because he understood what it meant to just care and care about his staff, and he just implemented everything possible to address reviews on every level. And I'm sure he replied to reviews on TripAdvisor, but he certainly replied to every single review on Yelp himself. And they had a check-in offer, and he just really took it to that next level. So When I think of, somebody that really inspired me by how much he cared about what he did, because I think at the base of everything and really looking at what it means to be in business, it means to provide that wow and provide that something special that someone is like, man, I have not felt like that in so long. And how many of us want to feel like that when every single day we want to feel like that, I think, in our experiences. Like if you went to 7-Eleven and someone's like, high five, man, and high fived you, you'd be like, that's the best 7-Eleven ever. So when I think of, what does it take to be an awesome business owner? It's figuring out what is that thing for you and executing that into every part of your business.
I'm glad you brought that up about the negative review and how you met him, because I know we were talking earlier about a strategy for responding to negative reviews. So would you be able to tell us, some of the do's and don'ts or things that you've learned along the way about how to respond when somebody leaves a negative review?
Whoa, no, I'm kidding. Well, I just even before I get there, even going off of what you guys were saying, I think it's a really good example because you hear about, and yourself, there are, in the percentage of people who leave reviews, there aren't a lot of people who can say, I was a Yelp elite, I totally am willing to leave a review. Most people don't necessarily contribute online, they're spectators, right? So you have to have that really compelling positive experience or really, unfortunately, negative experience to really spur you into taking action, right? So, and one of the things, that you mentioned that I totally agree with and that you see a lot of research about is that although, yes, a lot of your responses are for actually future guests, it's not necessarily about that one guest that's leaving your review. It's such a great opportunity to create a brand evangelist because the studies really show that somebody who has had a negative experience and had it positively turned around comes back to your business way more loyal than somebody who's just had good experiences or pretty okay experiences, right, with your interactions with your brand overall. I think for our side, as far as responding to negative reviews, we try to put ourselves in the shoes of our guests. When you're leaving a review, why are you leaving that review? Most likely you want to be heard, right? You want to know that somebody has heard you, somebody understands what your concern is, and whether you get, a free breakfast or a free room, that may not actually be everybody's intent. It's just that you're upset and you want somebody to know that you're upset. So when we're responding, it's kind of the approach that we're taking is how do we make you as our guest feel like you're having this one-on-one conversation with somebody and that you're actually being taken care of. And so we really try not to make any templated responses because just like they can smell the crazy, they can smell when there's something going on with good afternoon, Mr. So-and-so, thank you very much. We appreciate your feedback, right? So go with that. And then also, it's simple, but really don't be defensive. I'm still surprised to this day, and there's businesses in Hawaii that I see all the time that, somebody gets on there and they take it personally, and it's understandable, especially if it's a small business and it's your business, it's hard to kind of take a step back, but it's almost worse, right, when you're going out there and you're showing that you're more defensive than really caring about what your guests or what your patrons are saying.
So to chime in on that, it is absolutely critical on TripAdvisor in particular, but of all review sites, not to use a canned response. On TripAdvisor, they stack up vertically. If you copy and paste that same response 4 times, I know how much you care. 0. You've got to respond to each one individually. The best response you can give, positive or negative, is to provide value. Value for your guests, value for your future guests. That's what people are looking for when they read reviews. The business intelligence, cull that out for your own business. And in terms of what to do when you get a negative review, If someone says I came to Waikiki and the skiing was terrible, you can correct them and say, hey, we're really sorry we had a bad snow year. You know, this was not the year for skiing. If someone comes and says, I stayed at the Sheraton, it was a lovely property, they promised me a blue room and the room wasn't blue enough. Do not argue with a person about the quality of your blue room. It's like wrestling a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig likes it. No one on the internet has ever said, you're right, I'm wrong. Like, that's just doesn't happen. There's no value in that for you. The value is having the customer switch and become an evangelist. And I should know the number off the top of my head. 70% of people, if they see a negative review and you've replied appropriately, they will have a favorable impression of your property. If someone calls your baby ugly and you don't lose your mind and you say, no, look at those cute little ears.
And I was going to say the same thing.
If you reply appropriately, people will go, you know what, that baby's not so ugly. Like, it's that easy. Don't overthink this stuff. The consumer is looking for value. If you can give them value in your response, hey, we're really sorry the room wasn't blue enough for you. That was a terrible mistake on our part. Next May, we're having the rooms repainted. We'll make a note to pass along. Some of them should be even blue. Like, oh, okay. I'm reading it. I'm coming in May. Maybe I can get that blue room I've always wanted. Like, that's value for the consumer. Think about what you can give the consumer that's valuable.
And also, when people read reviews, and I'm sure all of you have read reviews for businesses or places you've gone, people are looking for what reviewers are saying again and again and again repeatedly about a business, and that's what, in general, they're going to believe to be the real truth, because all these people that don't know each other are saying the exact same thing. The room is just not blue enough.
Yeah, if you see 5 reviews that say your carpet's old, do not come to me and say, it looks just as good as it looked 20 years ago. Like, your carpet's old. Like, this is business intelligence. If you get notes that say, Bob makes the best margarita again and again, Bob should be teaching everyone on the staff to make margaritas. Like, it's that simple. Look for the business intelligence. It's there. The rooms by the elevator are noisy. Maybe we should do something about that. You know, like, these are things that you can find if you look for them. And you need a way to funnel that back through your operations, because odds are the person managing social isn't the person that
Can change the rooms.
That makes
Can
those kind of
change the
changes.
rooms. I was just gonna say that, I think too, look for the easy wins, you know. A lot of times you'll see it's service, and maybe it's service within a certain department. Is that something that can be more easily fixed than a renovation? Most likely, you know, your impact, right? So look for those ways that you can make the biggest impact without having to maybe make the biggest impact on.
One of the other things you said I thought was really, really critical. The easy win of having your staff understand when it's appropriate to ask for a review. Everyone wants more review. Everyone wants good reviews. You know, when you're checking out and the girl at the front desk is like, "Hey, did you have a great stay? You know, yes. Is everything okay? Yes. I just want to go. I'm late for my flight." You know, I was in there's a Fairmont property in Canada, and this couple was getting in their car and they're on their honeymoon, and they're telling the valet as he's throwing the bags in the car, like, "This was the best honeymoon ever." Best honeymoon. Maybe not ever. I don't know. Now that I said that doesn't sound right. But they were raving about their trip, and this guy's like, "Great," and he's just putting the bags in. I'm like, he needs to know to look at them and say, "Hey, my boss watches our TripAdvisors. If you would review us, that would be awesome." Sure, we'd be happy to do that. You know, when that guest is at your restaurant and they're like, "Hey, we're having a birthday party. Will you take a photo of everyone?" Sure, let me take a photo of you. You know. And you know what? It would be great if you review us on TripAdvisor. Here's your camera. Like, it's that simple. And they all need to understand it. Everybody. I was at a property in Vegas, and I had arrived all day from traveling. I was exhausted and horribly grumpy, and they said, "Oh, we're going to upgrade you, Mr. Williams." I was like, "Great." We have a corner suite. What I hadn't done the math on, and a corner suite in Vegas is like a 5-mile walk from the elevator to the corner of the building. And as I'm going down the endless corridor, I ran into 3 different housekeeping ladies, and each one of them stopped what they were doing and greeted me. Not super shocking, that's probably part of the training. But each one of them greeted me differently, so clearly not a script. Each one of them took the time to see that I was walking a long way and said, "Hey, it's really a long walk, isn't it? Do you need a hand with your back?" "No, I'm good." Second one, "It's really a long walk. Do you want water? I've got water in my car." "No, I'll make it." The third one's like, "Yeah, can I have a water?" But they understood it was important to interact with a guest. Like, the next step of that is, when your guest is happy, ask them for the review. And here's your secret tip, because you came today. When the guest is losing their mind, don't mention Yelp, don't mention TripAdvisor. Like, you don't have to be crazy about this. Like, just don't say anything. Play the game.
Well, and I think even if it's not for the review, obviously the review is important, but for your employees, for them to just understand that whether it gets written on a site or anything, most likely it matters, because most likely if I went to a hotel or wherever it is and I had a great experience, even if I'm not writing about it, I'm most likely talking about it, even if it's just to my immediate family.
Yep.
So there's 4 recommendations right there that you got for free.
And so we at Yelp recommend that you never ask for a review. That's just part of, that's what we teach in our webinars. You can read about it all in the blog, but asking for a review, we've actually seen that is not a tactic that you should take on, and instead what you should say is, "Hey, if you really enjoyed your experience, make sure to check us out on Yelp." There's a rule called the 1-9-90 rule in social media. 1% of the population creates content, 9% like it, engage with it, and 90% just watch. They won't engage, they will never create that content. So when someone writes a review about you, that's such a rare thing. There's maybe like a little over 100 people in this room. One of you, will be the one person that comes into that business and will write that review. And as somebody who, my entire job is to grow the community of writers on Yelp and to engage with people who love to write on Yelp. They treat it like it's their job and they love it. If you ask them to write a review about your business, you immediately turn into this icky thing that's like, ew. You're just like, no, I don't, when people ask me to write a review about their business, it's immediately, that's not gonna happen now, because, it's just made it weird. So, I don't know how to sustain it. Don't ask for reviews. Do not email your email list and ask people to write reviews about you. Do not offer freebies to get reviews. Don't be like, if you write a review about me, I will give you 10% off. Or if we at Yelp find that you are doing this, you will actually get a giant banner on your website on your page on Yelp for 3 months saying that this business is soliciting reviews. We take it that seriously because when people try to game the system, because there's obviously so much to be gained monetarily from great Yelp reviews. If you ever get hit up by a review service that says they're gonna get all these great 5-star reviews for you, we've caught people trying to buy Yelp Elite profiles through Craigslist. We have a whole team that literally just monitors this because of how important it is to us to protect the consumer that is of their own time and money and energy deciding to write a review. It's really important for us to protect that consumer trust. So don't ask for reviews. Say, check us out, or just find a different way to do it. That's not like, hey, can you write a review about me? It just,
Well, I think also that goes back to how important that unsolicited review is, because let's say for hotels, for example, you know, internally we have guest surveys. You all get them. You stay at a hotel, you check out, and you get a survey. You get asked for all questions, right? But you think about that, you're getting asked very specific questions. So maybe if you had left an unsolicited review, you wouldn't have included how comfortable your pillows were or how your dining experience was if it really wasn't memorable. And the only reason why you are including it is because we're asking you specifically to think of that point in your stay. So I think, I mean, to Emmy's point, a lot of times an unsolicited review can be even more valuable because you're really getting that genuine opinion from your guests without you as a business affecting what they're thinking and what they're talking about.
And I'm not saying that you can't figure out a way to market to get that review. I think it is important to remind them that, like, hey, we're on all these sites. Maybe either you can have signage, you know, depending on what kind of business you are, like check out our reviews on all these sites. Make your social media handles very easily accessible. Send an after email, like, hey, fill out this survey. If you loved us, we're also on these sites. Yeah.
Great, I feel like we're having an awesome conversation, and I wanted to get the crowd involved too, so we're going to open it up to questions.